Oh my gosh, we are live. This is going to be awesome. Let me start off by saying we have a guest. We have an awesome guest, Pastor Dr. Fitzgerald Reed. I wasn't sure. Did I just pronounce that or say that appropriately? Is it Pastor Doctor? Like Pastor comes first?
Well, just Dr. Fitzgerald Reed is great.
Oh my gosh, I like it. I like it. Holy cow! We met 3 minutes ago to discuss this live or the structure a little bit, and we're making it up as we go, which is the SOP I implemented for this show in general. Let me start off with an introduction. I am Jonathan Geyer. My big story, the story I would like to express that I always express in these meetings, is I helped to implement a health information exchange for the state of Minnesota, and I was stationed in St. Cloud, VA. In that opportunity, I was able to sit down and drink a cup of coffee with 30 some odd thousand veterans. That is a big deal. That is why I bring it up. Those interactions changed my life, right? It changed my perspective. It changed how I think. And that's going to be apparent in this conversation. You are going to see the output of these veteran interactions as Dr. Fitzgerald, Dr. Reed and I have this conversation here. Next noteworthy note, I coach boxing, right? And I've been doing this for 20 some odd years or whatnot. We crossed 13,000 people tuned into our live stream last night. We just crossed 330,000 views. It's become, we have people from all over the world that are watching us. And oh my gosh. So our class maxed out. We can only hold 40 kids, and similar to church service, church was the inspiration for this. We started streaming it. We put it on YouTube. Why? Because if you can't make it to church, it is still good to watch from home. My wife and I watch church from home when we can't make it in. Right. So we started doing that for our boxing class. And now, we crossed 330,000 views. It is a big deal. Oh my gosh, that is it. Dr. Fritz, you're up.
Great to be with you, my friend. We met in Washington, D.C. area. We
Yes,
both at a conference, NSBA. We both in the business of government contracting. I'm a pastor of Salem Christian Church, but also I'm a small business owner of Eagle Professional Services, where we offer a business solution for small business. Help you protect your investment through insurance product as well as real estate products as well. So I'm glad to be here with you, my friend. Hopefully we can dive into this conversation about the greatness within. So I'm just excited to be here, and I greet all your guests. Thank you for being here.
Okay. This is going to be awesome. I'm super pumped. Structurally, I am going to read a paragraph. We are going to read a paragraph at a time, and then just talk about it. And really, this show is deliberately structured, unstructured.
Gotcha.
The goal, the article is just a setup for good conversation, right? Like if we don't read any of the article, it doesn't matter at all. It's just got to be a deep conversation. I want it to be a deep conversation. That's all I'm after. And oh my gosh, I already know that you and I will pull this off naturally. So let it ride. Just let it flow. Yeah. Okay. Let me dive right in. The greatness within. Oh my gosh. And actually before I get too far in, you and I haven't talked about this. Like, I don't know where you're going to go with this title. You gave me the title, and that's all I asked for. Right. I'm not sure how this is going to play out, and I'm pumped. Like, I'm excited. I'm getting goosebumps as we talk. Like, I'm positive it's going to be good. Yeah. Our special guest this week is Pastor Dr. Fitzgerald Reed, a friend and a man I seek out for advice. That's real. That's real. I remember our conversations as we were walking around the National Mall. I can tell you where we were standing when you said particular points, right? Like so it must have been significant enough that my mind took a snapshot of the moment that I can reference, Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good. Yes, sir. Good. That's God awesome. Story. And actually, I'm going to deviate before I just a small, I was going to say rabbit hole. It's not a rabbit hole. This is a deliberate deviation, just a tiny little bit. I am super uncomfortable talking about God or religion publicly. Like I feel some peer pressure is not the right word, but I am deliberately stepping outside of my comfort zone to have this conversation. I had to talk myself into it. That is a real. I'm a boxing coach. I was scared. True story. I was scared to have this conversation. I've been opening up a little bit more in the last couple of weeks, probably getting ready for this, But like I'm actually nervous to do this. I had to talk myself into it, like a boxer getting into the ring. Yeah.
Wow. So it must gonna be great. It's got to be great.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Meant to be. Yeah. Fritz and I met in a highly improbable way. Hotel breakfast bar in DC. Yeah, that's the waitress sat us next to each other in the nearly empty restaurant area. So close, it would have been weird. So close, it was weird and uncomfortable not to talk. Oh my gosh. And I don't know how you remember, but that's how I remember it. Like I remember seeing the restaurant totally empty, and then she sat us right next to each other. It's my thought was, that's what an odd choice. But in hindsight,
like you said, it was odd because I was on my way, preparing myself to leave, knowing that my flight was going to come later on in the afternoon. And so when I bumped into you, I realized after conversating with you that we had been at the same conference, but I had not seen you there over the last few days. And so there was an opportunity for me to, greet you and have a conversation with you. And based on that, we realized that our itinerary was open for the remainder of the day. And we decided to a matter of fact, I got in your Uber, and we headed over to the National Mall and we spent the rest of the day together, and it was fabulous. It was a great opportunity to get to know you. And as we walked, God just began to share things, and we just began to open up to one another. That's how I saw the story from my point of view.
Oh my gosh. And I deliberately planned an extra day so I could just take the time and walk around. But, I was going to do it by myself. I planned that day to just walk around, but that was it. Like I didn't plan on where I was going to go. I didn't plan on what I was going to do. I made the choice to give myself a day in DC by myself. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question because something struck my attention. What is your middle name again?
Cole.
Okay, gotcha.
Jonathan Cole Geyer. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because I was seeing the parallels when we met Jonathan and Fitzgerald. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, we talked about that, right? Yeah.
What's describe that a little bit more. I remember.
Well, because at first I thought your name was just John when we first met, but it was Jonathan, and I know my first name is Fitzgerald. I would think about John F. Kennedy, as well as my middle name is Alexander. I would think about Alexander the Great. As we began to walk around and see these great monuments in the stature of the history of our country. And so that's why I asked you that question once we got out, and just trying to, I guess, make the connection of why me and you are together at this moment. Yeah, exactly. That's all. That's why I asked that question.
That was the segue. I remember it now. That was the start to, oh my gosh. We're going to get into it there again. The article I'm reading is just a setup for conversation.
Gotcha. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Next paragraph. Within about 10 minutes, Dr. Reed and I realized that we both had the rest of the day free and both planned on walking around the National Mall and seeing the DC sites. And we were both planning to go solo. Yeah.
Yes.
We decided to not go solo. And this happened at the restaurant. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I speak to this in the next article, but we're crossing a year since this happened. I've had a year to think about it. And I'm having a hard time saying that it's not something significant, something unmeasurably significant, and I'm going to speak to that. And I'm tiptoeing around the God thing because I'm still uncomfortable talking about it publicly. Like I feel peer pressured to open up more on that, and that's where I'm at. It really does. For me, it feels like boxing. I'm doing it because I'm scared to do it, and I don't like being scared.
It's sparring right now, right? Well, as we begin to think about this subject matter, because I had been thinking about it just in my own personal life is greatness and experiencing the greatness of God. While I'm here, my purpose, and I want to live out the best version of myself. And I was thinking about, as we talk now, that God began to share with me the greatness in you, and that's why I began to share with you what I thought at that moment.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Holy cow. You know what? I'm just going to read the next paragraph. I was totally prepared to dive into the deep end, but the next paragraph it's a good one.
Okay,
Science says God. I am a Six Sigma black belt from the American Society for Equality, ASQ, the hardest test to take. And I did a ton of research before I chose to go this Mount Everest level difficulty exam. And statistically analyzing outcomes is my world and second nature. It's how I see the world. It's something once you turn on, you can't turn it back off. I calculate stuff constantly or analyze. Yep. Everything is a data point. The math doesn't add up. The probability of this situation, Dr. Reed and I meeting, the probability of this situation, the day's conversations, and all the interactions that happened after are incalculably low. And I'm bragging about I'm emphasizing the Six Sigma part because I did try to rule out for cognitive biases. I did try to rule out for just dumb luck and all this other stuff. And, all in a world of probability, everything is probable, right? Or everything is possible, but not everything is probable. And that's what I'm speaking to here. I'm speaking to, it's possible that all of it was dumb luck, right? I don't consider it probable. And I've spent a year trying to find variables onto it. Like, holy cow. Like, yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it. Yep.
I just see the difference. I see it from this angle. I guess I'm coming from the southern part of the United States, which is Georgia, and you coming from Minnesota, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we meet in our capital of the United States on that particular day. And like I said, I had been there a couple of days before I even laid eyesight on you. If you had not came into that restaurant, just like me, if I decided, because I was kind of like deciding, okay, I'm going to go here or I'm going to go somewhere else. I just happened to see some young ladies coming from that area. So I said, okay, out of curiosity, let me go and see what this is. And that's where, I kind of bumped into you and we had our conversation. So I think it was just God appointed time for us to meet one another.
And that's what when I did that bullet point, Science says God, that is my going conclusion. That is the leading hypothesis after a year's worth of deep consideration on this one. And oh my gosh, there's more stuff we're going to freehand here in a little bit. This is a quick article.
Yes.
Fritz and I touched on deep, personal, emotional topics my best friends and I have never discussed. That's a true thing. We, oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps as we talk right now. We were talking about marriage. We were talking about life. We were talking about stuff you don't talk about with strangers, right? And it just happened. Like there was no leading. There was no prodding. Like it was like we've always known each other. Yeah, crazy.
Right. Yes. Just a natural flow of conversation. We began to talk about things. At the time, you was not married. You were thinking about, you was engaged to be married. And you were telling me about all the surrounding events. And then we began to talk about your church life as well. So, the conversation continues to go and go and go and go and continue to grow as we dived into the conversation with one another.
I don't want to share publicly, but what I'm getting at, we were talking about hard stuff, like getting married. That's it wasn't all rainbows and sunshine, right? Like the normal stuff, the stuff you normally hide from public view, we dove into right off the bat, like as if we've known each other our whole lives. That's
right. And talking about church life as well, which is another hard issue, just your church family, who you love and dear, which is a family to you. We began to talk about those experiences as well.
I didn't, this all ties together. I didn't grow up in that environment and I wasn't pushed into that. A lot of this comes from my wife. Right? Like
Right.
she introduced me to it, and yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that speaks to my uncomfortableness with talking about this publicly. Right now, this feels like a boxing match to me. I am pushing myself outside. I am doing it just because I'm scared to do it. Right? Yeah.
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 Facing your fear, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Facing
Head
your
on.
fear.
Run on in.
And I
Yep.
remember you brought up a lot of things that I shared with you. You said my wife shared the same information with you, over the time that you all been together. So it was just like an affirmation of the conversation that we had. And I think the more and more that we open up, the more and more you realize that you heard this before and you heard it from your wife or through others.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're at the last 15 minutes. I do want to spend the last moment here describing.
Okay.
I want to hear your thoughts on the greatness within the actual stuff. So I'm going to read a little bit faster here. Fitz and
Okay,
I
go ahead.
touched on deep emotional topics my best friends and I have never discussed. My wife and I watched his Salem Christian Church service from our home in central Minnesota a few weeks after I returned from DC. I don't remember the specific topic, but I do remember the look on my wife's face as Dr. Reed spoke, the message hit home, and it felt like it was for us. And now that I'm making a point to describe this, to see this from the biblical or the religious, the faithful perspective, like holy cow, whatever that topic was, I don't remember at that point. We reached out to you after watching it. It was for us. We had something crazy going on at the time. I don't remember what it was, but it was it stopped us in our tracks. Like yeah, kind of held my breath a little bit. Like it was from a scientific materialism perspective, it was crazy how spot on it was to what we needed.
Yeah, I think it was something sent around right before you were getting married.
Yes, sir.
I think that probably some concerns. I'm assuming because I vaguely remember reading your message. And it was something in relation to, I know it was right before you were getting married.
Oh my gosh, which yeah, stressful. And I'm building a business and whatnot. I don't want to publicly share stuff. But holy cow, I'm a boxer and I choose to climb Mount Everest. I choose to go to the moon because it's hard, right?
Yes.
And my perspective is unique. Like it's yeah. The challenges I willingly walk into is not the path that everybody else is comfortable with. My level of crazy is not the normal. Yeah, gutsiness is a good way to say it. Oh my gosh, how to find the greatness within you. This is the title Fitz picked for the week, and my following thoughts are independent. We don't talk about this. I write this independently as a setup for good conversation. We didn't talk about it yet. I coach boxing, and my first thought skewed towards the boxing direction. I've had a few days to think about it, and my perception went deeper. And oh my gosh, I didn't plan this out. It's talking the publicly saying the word God. It scares me a bit, right? And that's what I mean in this paragraph. I coach little kids to go in and fight to potentially get injured in front of hundreds of people, in front of their girlfriends, in front of their family. Like it is terrifying to get in the ring. Who cares if you win or lose? Just like showing up is just, oh my gosh, it is the hardest thing you could possibly imagine. Kind of like public speaking. It's just terrifying, right? So what I do, the biggest value add I add to these young adults, and I say kids, but they're in their 20s and whatnot, is helping them do the scary stuff, right? Like, and oh my gosh, that's when you say the greatness within you, that's what I was thinking. Like, yeah, I'm picturing it like there again. I'm getting goosebumps as we talk. My heart is in getting these kids to do scary things, and maybe that's what you meant by the greatness. I'm not sure how to connect the dots, but that's where my mind is at when I read this.
Well, just kind of tag along with your scenario about boxing. I'm not a boxer, of course, but just the preparation of what a boxer go through is going to determine if they're going to be very successful or not. They can't control the results, but they can control their preparation. and what they put into being prepared for that match. And I think all that is within. That's all within. I think that we all are spiritual beings. We're connected to God, spiritually. And it's something that God put on the inside of us, which is immaterial substance. When we think of spirit and soul, as the biblical Bible tells us, the Holy Scripture tells us that God breathed into our nostrils and we became living souls. That means that we became a human being. That means that we all have a part of God on the inside of us. But it's up to us to discover what that is. We know that we are connected to God by the Spirit. And because we have a soul, that means we have life here on earth. And so we just have to discover what that is. And according to the Word of God, is all about our output, meaning, of course, what we put in, but the output, a giving of ourselves to others, becoming a servant of others, meaning not a doormat, but being a servant, willing to give of ourselves. And we do that when we make these sacrifices, when we prepare for a match. We give of ourselves, we make sacrifices to get on a workout regimen, to maybe get diet regimen, or just prioritize things. Well, we even pull ourselves back, isolate ourselves, where we can focus more on being prepared so we can be the best we can be once we step into that ring. And being the greatness within is truly just being the best version of yourself. It have nothing to do with accolades. It have nothing to do with you being famous. It have everything to do with who you're connected to, and then discovering your God-given gifts. And you maximize those gifts to the best of your potential, which already reside within you. So it's all about tapping into what God already have placed within you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't plan this out ahead of time, and you just touched on like a major struggle for me, one that I am willing to talk about. What the heck am I supposed to do with my life? Right? Like, oh my gosh, am I supposed to be a billionaire? Because I am working in that direction. Am I supposed to not be a billionaire and work a normal job and just take care of my family, which is perfectly fine, right? Like, what the heck am I supposed to do? Because I am good at a lot of things, right? And I am bad at a lot of things. And in this biblical perception, the right way to say it, faithful. I'll go with that. I like that one better. Faithful perception. Like, what am I here to do? And I actually have, my wife and I, we go to the Waters Church here in Sartell, and we've had conversations. I reached out to the pastor, and there again, I'm super uncomfortable talking about any of this stuff. This is me boxing. I am peer pressuring myself into reaching out to a pastor. I've never done that in my life. Right. And I told him, like, what the heck am I supposed to do with myself? Like, oh my gosh, I am good at a lot of things, but what matters? How did you say what God put me on this earth to do? And helping people is what I'm hearing. Right. Yes. What does that mean? I don't know. And it's oh my gosh, and it's scary. It's scary. I have kids, like I have responsibilities. I have things I need to do. Right. And yeah. Oh my gosh, I'm coming from the black belt, the statistical kind of mindset. It is unquantifiable. What we're talking about is unquantifiable, and that's it's challenging. And switching into the disc framework, the conscientious type, not being able to quantify it is challenging. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I have a hard time articulating any of this, but so my boxing channel is doing awesome. What am I doing there? I'm coaching. I'm building people up. Right. This what we're doing here is doing awesome. What am I doing? I'm inviting guests on, and I'm trying to build them up, on purpose. And my government contracting mentor and we are trying to convince normal Americans to starting government contracting companies to build them up. Right. Like all of this is happening because of this conversation with the Pastor, because of what you're talking about right now. What the heck am I supposed to do with my life? I have the impression, I hear that I'm supposed to help people, and this is how I'm doing it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And I don't know the formula like you do. You're a man of analytics and mathematician probably even, but I know this right here from life experience: preparation plus opportunity equals success. I just think that when you prepare yourself, the moment will find you, and you just have to be ready to respond. See, we cannot control the outcome, but we can control what we allow to input within ourselves, so we can have a greater outcome, whatever that is. It's not about the material; it's about the immaterial. It's about what you're putting on the inside of you, meaning your training, your learning, your development, just preparing yourself for the moment. It may not seem as if you're preparing for the moment, but you truly are, because you never know when that moment may arrive. So preparation plus the opportunity, because the opportunity will find you if you prepare yourself, and it will equal success. And what success look like? Well, to me, success is being the best version of yourself.
Oh, yep.
And that is greatness at the end of the day. Service, giving of yourself, because the Holy Scripture does tell us this when he made the comparison between Adam and Jesus. Is that Adam was a living soul, meaning that Adam was a human being, but the person Jesus was a life-giving spirit. And so we all are called to give of ourselves to something and someone, some cause. Because we were not created here to be alone. We were created to be in a community, because everything happened in a community. So in a community, we have to give and we have to receive. So to me, I just believe that is the greatest greatness within us, when we can learn how to give the way God wants us to give.
Oh and my gosh.
That's less. Yes.
There was I was active listening, but there was two thoughts there. Let's see if I can recall them.
Go ahead.
The first, the community part, that is also a new thought for me within this last few years or whatnot, because I'm a super independent person, disc framework dominant, conscientious type. I got married because I don't want to do it alone, right? Like I know that I'm dumb. There's probably a better way to say that, but I know that I'm not good at some things, and I know that I can convince myself that I'm right even when I'm not right. Like I can be my own yes man, and I know that's not. I want to win. Like I don't care about being right. I want to win. Like I want to achieve the greatest thing I can possibly achieve, and I know that by myself is not a good way to do it. The veteran conversation. After a while, I'm an empath, so I pay attention to people. After a while, I was able to tell who lived alone without talking to them. Like just their mannerisms alone were enough that you could tell who was by themselves. And I now know from the faithful perspective that it correlates. Like it's supposed to be a community. I can tell who wasn't part of the community, and then which is a supportive data point towards that.
And that's the important part about networking as well, because you get to meet people, within a community, whatever group you all are gathering together for, or whatever cause it is, you all become a community.
Oh my gosh. That is awesome. I don't remember what my second point is there. We are in our last 45 seconds here. Yes. And I'm going to read a sentence here and start preparing yourself. I'm going to ask you, what is the one thing you could give our audience, the most beneficial, the most valuable thing, the one thing you want them to take away from this conversation? Actually, let's just go with that right now. What is the closing thought here on how you feel on this, the greatness within? What can we do for the people watching this?
The greatness is within is what God have already placed inside of you. Nice. And that is those material, intangible substance that he already given into you. As I said, the scripture said that God breathed into human nostril and they became living souls. So we are human beings because we have God inside of us. Now we need to connect with God in order to bring out that greatness. And God will continue to instruct us to what that may be. And this is a process of learning, of discovering your God-given talent or your God-given gift. And the greatness within is your ability to serve others and to give to others, give yourself to others. That's the greatness within.
Oh my God. Oh, hey, that was ironic or coincidental. That was the thing that I forgot about, serving others.
Yes.
I didn't know it was written, or I didn't know it was emphasized in the Bible or in the
Yes.
faithful or whatnot. I didn't know that. And
Yes.
that's what I was hearing. I was hearing that I'm supposed to, yeah. Oh my gosh, I am super uncomfortable talking about it. But here we are. Here we are, taking care of others. Yep.
Yes.
I am leaning
Care
into
of
it.
others.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, sir.
basically,
Oh my
that's
God.
what you're doing here today. You're taking care of others, giving them information that will call them to grow.
Oh my gosh, we are at time. Holy cow, this was a cool conversation. I really do have goosebumps from talking.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for coming on. Oh
And
my
thank
gosh.
you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm.
All right.